Welcome back to the channel, and for those of you who are just walking in here just so you can figure out how to replace a soft top on your Miata, welcome to the channel. My name is Chris. So I think I just got a package. Well, I know I got a package, and I'm pretty sure it is my new soft top for the Miata. Let's open it up and find out. This definitely looks like a box big enough to fit a soft top in it. There we go. So here it is. This is the $200. I think this one was actually $185 on Amazon. So the top, right off the bat, doesn't feel bad. The window, it'll be nice having a window. Let me show you what I'm working with. Because this is the top. I just bought this car a few months ago. I've been building it up, redid everything, blah, blah, blah. So right off the bat, the top feels pretty much the same. Like, the quality of the fabric feels pretty similar. This is what I'm working with for a window. When I bought the car, I didn't even have anything. I just kind of had my girlfriend stitch this on, and yeah, it didn't hold up too well. But let's get this swapped out. So I've definitely never ever swapped out a soft top before. I've been kind of looking it up, doing some reading, and it definitely doesn't feel like, it doesn't look like the easiest thing in the world, but it definitely doesn't look like the hardest. So I'm going to try and make a semi-informal video for you guys to figure this out, because there's a few videos on it on YouTube, but a lot of them are kind of pretty low quality, like physically in terms, so I thought it'd be nice to have like an HD setup. So I'm gonna go ahead, right off the bat, I'm gonna open that box up more so I can open the vinyl, lay it out in the sun, because it's kind of warm today. It's probably about 80, and I'm gonna let this sit in the sun this whole time while I'm out here trying to get this old top off, to let it hopefully stretch a little bit, because I know that's going to be one of the hardest parts, is what everybody says, is getting it to stretch after you've got it on the rail and everything, getting it to close that first time. So give myself a bit of a break, leave it in the sun, let it heat up. So to give myself a little bit of a break and room to work in, I'm going to take both seats out, and then I know you have to take these plastics out on the sides here so that way you can get the carpet out, because you need to get this rear deck lid carpet off. So you do have a bunch of clips along the back there. I'll show you in a sec. And we'll get this all out and get started. So with the trim and everything loose, all that's left is to pop off this little plastic grommet here. Just take a flathead or something, just kind of wiggle it off, just like that. And then unbolt the seat belt, and this whole thing can just come right around it. I forgot that I've got this brace that I took off a 1.8 car, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, because if you don't have the brace factory in the car, it's hard to take off. If you do have it factory, just unbolt the bolt right there and it comes right out. Mine, I've got some nuts underneath, and it's just kind of a pain to get to. So for me, I should be able to just pull this plastic to the side right here, and you're gonna have in these 3 holes back here, if you can see that, there's gonna be a couple bolts in there. I'll let you know the size once I loosen it here, but it's just holding the frame down right there behind the plastics. But once this side is unbolted right there, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm gonna put the top up, and I'm gonna go and undo the carpet pins from the inside. The nuts behind the plastic are 12 millimeters, but I got one left to do right here. Before I do that, just in case I don't want it to get loose, I'm gonna go ahead and get those plastic rivets out that hold the carpet in. You can either use a fork and slide it under it, or if you have a plastic trim removal tool thing, you can pop those loose. But just get those out and get this carpet out. behind the pillars here, there's also going to be this thing right here, which is like a Phillips head that's also holding the carpet down. So just go ahead and get that. I can't really fit the camera back here with the top on, so I'll just do that and show you guys pulling the carpet out. This is what that little cap thing was, just a big old Phillips head screw. But carpet's out now. Now we can go ahead and start unbolting the rest of the top. So it looks like all that's holding it on now is all these little 10 mil bolts that go all the way around that hold the rain rails in. I do have that one more bolt here, but then it should just be the rest of those. Now the rain rails you should replace. I should replace mine, I just don't have them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just Gorilla Tape them, but we'll see just how bad they are when I pull them out. And don't feel bad if you break most of these. Most of mine were just dry rotted, so even with the right tool, most of them still broke, like that one. And it's not the end of the world. You can buy new ones at your local automotive paint store. A lot of the times they sell these body clips, or even your local auto parts store might sell them for a couple bucks as well, so don't worry too much. So with all the bolts out, pulling the plates off, this one just fell off. Kind of remember where these go because they do have their certain place. So I'm just kind of setting them outside the car where it's supposed to go. Got the other side over there. And I believe there's 2 rear ones or one. Okay, one long rear piece. One long rear section. So just like that. Okay, right there. And this one goes right there. So I think we should be able to just kind of pull these off the studs now and then pull the top off. So be a little careful. Don't want to rip them. So it needs both hands to do this. So pull those out and we should be able to lift the top off. So I think ideally you're supposed to undo this plastic tab here, and then this is the corner tab up here where the rain guard is finally clamped onto, and that's really hard to get to. So I ended up actually breaking mine on both sides because I couldn't find it, and my rain rail is so brittle it just kind of broke without hardly even tugging it. So hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake. If you do, Gorilla Tape. Let's get this top opened up. For the rain rail, you're supposed to pop the rivets off. So you can, I'll show you how to do that here in a sec. It's not too hard. But yeah, let's get this opened up, get this old tarp off, the old top off. And this one's nice and warm, so hopefully should be pretty easy to stretch over. I think some of the extra cloth they sent you is to go around these things here, around these poles. So for these ones, because it is kind of like glued to the top, just go ahead and pull them off. They pull off pretty easy. They're just kind of wedged in there, so you just gotta tear it and then pull it through. Just like that. There's a bunch of pop rivets that hold the top on, or at least the rain rail and stuff. So 2 of mine are recessed in right here because the rain rail cracked. So all you really need is some pliers, something to hold it. Each rivet, I don't know, I saw some before that were bigger, so you could use some normal pliers. Mine are a bit smaller, more rounded, so I'm using these wire cutters to hold it. And then just get yourself a drill and a bit and just drill it out, and the rivets come right out. Just like that. Pretty easy. To get the rest of the top off, you're gonna have to pull your weather stripping back here. It's all just held on with a bunch of Phillips head screws. So got some up here, all along the top there, across the other side. So just make sure you keep them left side, right side, just like this. And once you get all those screws off, then the top should pretty much come off. There is going to be a cable, and I'll show you what I'm talking about once I get to that step. There's all the screws out of these little little chrome things. These just pop off. They might be a little stuck on there from some sort of glue or adhesive or just age, you know. But there is a few more rivets underneath here. But I already got the top peeled off up the front here, and once I get these 2 rivets on each side, it should be ready to just pull all the way off. Okay, so here's the little cable. I don't really understand where that goes to though, but I suppose we'll see it on the new top that isn't all torn up. Looks like it just kind of hooks in here. Okay, I see it goes down the side of the sleeve here. You're gonna have to try and fish that through, so that's gonna be fun. And it just hooks up. Okay. Well, old top, it is totally off. This thing can just go right in the trash. We're not making bad time. I got this all off, and I've been filming this, trying to get decent shots, and it's been about an hour and a half, so not too shabby. Pretty much as I understand it, you kind of got to stretch this over. It may be a pain, but as you're stretching it, it should line up for the most part with all the screw holes. So it shouldn't be too big of an issue. I think the hardest part is going to be fishing this cable through. Some people say you need to replace that. I don't see why you would have to. So I'm not going to, and I don't have one, nor do I have time to wait for one right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start stretching this out. I don't know which way is going to be easier, if the top is like that, if the top lays down on it. I don't really want to lay the new top down on the concrete. Might be able to do it here on the box, but yeah, let me kind of try and get this a little situated, and I'll show you guys once I kind of got it figured out. So the top's pretty much ready to go back on the car. It was definitely a pain in the butt. I did let it sit in the sun for a while, so that definitely helped. But we started from the front and worked our way back. So it definitely took both of us to do it. It wasn't the easiest. So we started up front here. We got the center or end screws in on this front plate here. And we had stretched over the corners there and brought it all the way around to where the front was on. And once we had the fronts on, where we came to next was we had to bend the frame a little bit just like that to get the edges of the top over it. Now you had those little brackets with the 3 screws in it, and then it is a little bit tricky, but you just got to kind of work it a little bit, finagle it, and then you can get this piece on. And once you have it on both sides, that wasn't so much the hard part. Then you have your 3 metal brackets that go along here, and the one right here gets 2 pop rivets. The pop rivets I used were the 5/32. Used 2 of them on each side under the seal, so one on this side and one on this side. And then you have this extra flap here that you have to pop rivet back onto. So you got the 2 right here. Both of them were 5/32 as well. And then we're still kind of working on this part, but this is about as good as we're gonna get it. Wrapping up the bars. So the middle one we really can't get at all. The rear one we just wrapped loosely just so the Velcro could attach to it. But that's pretty much it for getting the top on. It just takes a little finagling and patience. But as for the weather strip in the rear, the rain guard, or the rain rail, some people are saying that you want to rivet it on. I read that it was riveted on from factory onto the top because it's easier for installation of the whole thing. But whether you do or you don't put it on that, I'm not going to in this case, at least not right now. I'm probably gonna have to end up buying a new rain rail because mine's pretty beat up, so I use Gorilla Tape to seal up where all the big cracks were and fill in my big chunk that was missing right about here. So what I'm gonna do instead is, I was reading and somebody was saying that they put the rain rail on and then you want to peel the lip out like this and tuck the end of the top in the middle of the rain rail, so that way when the rain runs down the top, it collects here in the middle of the rail like it's supposed to. So it is going to be a little bit tricky with the top on to pull this forward and tuck it in there, but it won't be the hardest thing ever. You guys really get the idea. It's not that hard once you actually get the top laid out onto it, onto the skeleton or whatever, or vice versa. It kind of starts to line itself up. It's just actually stretching it to get the holes lined up. That's where it's a little tricky. And just as a safe precaution, make sure you vacuum out and flush out your rain holes right there, your drains on each side. So we pretty much got it tucked in. We're just working on the last corner over there. A little bit of a tight fit, especially back here. But now that it's all, I think, in place, we can go ahead and start putting these metal rails back in. These pieces, and once those go over, you just put the nuts back on and tighten it all down. And then just gotta get your carpet and everything back in and try and start stretching this top to get it to lock, because I can already tell it's gonna be a super tight fit because it's cooled off quite a bit, so my vinyl isn't hot anymore. Finally got the top bolted in. I kind of made the mistake of going all the way around and tightening the rear plates up first when I had to loosen those all pretty much on, so they were just on by like a thread. And then for whatever reason, it lined up these bolt holes, so I don't know if you're technically supposed to do these holes first and then move over and do those ones, or if you're supposed to kind of mix and match, but yeah, how I did it worked for me. So I do have to stretch the top quite a bit because it has, yeah, it doesn't want to close at all right now. But it is, again, dark and getting chilly. So I'm going to try and finish this video up tomorrow. I'll show you guys what it looks like with the top fully closed, if I can get it closed tomorrow. And then we'll end this video out for you guys. Here's the top all closed up, guys. This is 2 days later now. I got the top to shut the next day. I just had to let it sit in the sun for a while, and it took some convincing, but I just sat it in the sun with a bungee cord attached to my handle, and then I just ran it to the tow hook on the front of the car. But it's a nice tight seal. I haven't put the top down yet because I'm going to let it sit for a few more days to make sure that it's all the way stretched and it'll work. And it's really nice having access to my rear shelf again and having the window, and so far so good, no complaints on it. Not a bad top for the price. I mean, we'll see how long it holds up, but overall you really can't complain. I hope you guys found this video useful or entertaining, and if you did, please be sure to leave a like on the video and let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you consider subscribing. And we got some new headlights to install coming up next, guys, and some other stuff shortly after that, as soon as parts start driving for the turbo. So anyways, guys, do what you love, forget about the rest. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.